Good afternoon. Today I want to talk about SoFi's recent fireside chats as well as Invest in America that's being included in Donald Trump's new Big Beautiful Bill. But that being said, I'm going to get right into this. I'm going to start off talking about the fireside chats and then go into the Invest in America. First off, I'm going to talk about the SoFi loan platform. This is going to be a mix of SoFi originating its loans as well as the loan business platform. So first off, I want to talk about they announced a 700 million securitization, and basically what this tells us as investors is that their loans are in high demand, and this is good news for SoFi underwriting their own loans as well as creating that fee-based revenue that they get by underwriting loans for other lending companies. So SoFi's loan platform business continues gaining traction, not only funding borrower demand, but also enabling fee-based capital-light lending with low credit exposure. They're working on edge focus and other large loan platform deals expected to meaningfully boost fee revenue, though exact terms weren't disclosed. So behind the scenes, they continue to work and they continue to lock up these new loan platform deals, but we have no details on the exact size of these deals being made. The big thing I actually want to talk about as far as these fireside chats was the SoFi Tech platform. I think a lot of people need reminded that when we continue to evaluate SoFi, because I know we are going to hear this for the rest of 2025, and it's just a bunch of bullshit when you come to evaluating this company, is you cannot look at what the tech platform does this year. They have already made it clear that they aren't going to make any progress this year when it comes to tech platform because it takes so long to integrate these companies onto their tech platform that any deals made now will not accrue revenue until a year from now. So they can't do anything about 2025. They already know what's coming in 2025 and they've made it clear that nothing special is happening this year. But what they have told us, and they've told us this in the past, and they reassured it now, is that they have a pipeline of 10 new deals that will accrue revenue in 2026. And they confirmed some of these partnerships. And I only knew about Wyndham. Maybe you guys knew about these other two, but I only knew about Wyndham. But they confirmed partnerships with Direct Express, Wyndham, and Mercantile Banco. I'm probably butchering that in complete honesty. But the Direct Express U.S. Treasury program is a prepaid card program serving approximately 3.5 million consumers, and that is expected to contribute in 2026. Wyndham Hotels, it's a co-branded debit rewards program launched in Q1 with additional hospitality/travel deals planned. Also will accrue revenue in 2026. And then you got the Mercantile Banco. It looks like that's outside the U.S., Panama, and it's deployment of SoFi's Cyberbank digital banking platform for both personal and business accounts. And I put here on the bottom of the slide for positioning as far as these deals fit LaPointe's strategic push to drive recurring, diversified revenue through SoFi's fintech infrastructure. And to those who are new to SoFi as a business, what I'm basically trying to say here is SoFi likes diversifying the way that they create revenue so that they get to a point where they survive in any sort of macro environment. So they see the tech platform as being something that can weather any storm that the macro may throw at them, as well as then you get the loan platform, which is of course going to uh, be at its best in a low interest rate environment. And although the same goes for the tech platform, where they've used this excuse of a high interest rate environment is why the growth slowed. That can be true, but if you can, growth might slow in a high interest rate environment, but doesn't mean that the business has to lose revenues if we go from a low interest rate environment, as long as the platform can stay sticky and keep its consumers. So we got reassurance on the SoFi flywheel as well. LaPointe stressed SoFi success in cross-selling, and Anthony noted does this all the time as well. So you had 10.9 million members, that's up 34% year over year, and you have 15.9 million products, that's up 35% year over year, and 75% of new Plus members adopt a second product within 30 days, and this just supports the thesis of creating that one-stop shop at SoFi The fact that someone gets a second product within 30 days, 75% of the time, is a huge win rate, and we'd like to see that continuing to rise. When you just think about, setting up direct deposit and then having an invest account, that's two products right there. How easy is it to then get them to get a loan with you, a mortgage with you? Definitely a flywheel I can see continuing to expand, especially as I've stressed in the past, once level one options are here, because I do believe there are a lot more investors like me who bank with SoFi and would much prefer my invest account to be with SoFi, but not having level one options is a major loss where I have to stick with the Robinhood for now. But once level one options do come, Robinhood doesn't offer me enough to make me want to stay with Robinhood anymore. That is when I'd look to switch my brokerage over to SoFi and continue to make SoFi my one-stop shop. And I think a lot of other people think the same way, because the annoyance to go to 4 different apps for 4 different financial products that I have is annoying. When I have my credit card with Capital One, and then I got my school loan over here, and then I got my money getting deposited into SoFi, and then my brokerage is with Robinhood. It's annoying, but the moment that I can get it all at one company, that's a win there, because now it's all in one app. Now I can see everything right in front of my face, and that is part of the reason I stay so bullish on SoFi. Is no other company's offering me that right now, and SoFi has been working tirelessly to get there, and I do believe that they're going to be one of the first to get there. So now I want to switch topics and go into Invest in America, because there's been some hot topics about how bullish is this actually for SoFi, how bullish is this actually for Robinhood. So I'm going to go over the details on this slide, and then in the next slide I'll explain where I stand on Invest in America. So it was announced that $1,000 for every child born between January 1st, 2025 and December 31st, 2028 would go into a tax-deferred brokerage account. So funds are deposited into private tax-deferred accounts that track a U.S. stock index. Parents and guardians manage the accounts. The child gains partial and full access over time. And this is how that works. So at age 18, they can withdraw up to half for either education or a home if they'd like. They don't have to. It's if they'd like. And then at 25, they can access the full balance for defined uses, such as wanting to start a business or higher education. Maybe they're going after their master's, or what would it be, their doctorate at that point. And then at age 30, you have full unrestricted access, meaning you can go spend it on a car, at the casino, or if this actually taught these children some financial literacy, they may just switch it over to a Roth IRA. They may just start to another index, or maybe they want to start investing in individual stocks, in which they can do that too. So private contributions are allowed up to $5,000 per year, boosting the initial seed, and that clearly will benefit wealthier families who can afford to do that for their children. But either way, this is a win-win. So now I'm going to talk about my thoughts, why I believe this is beneficial to SoFi. So although we don't have the exact numbers, I feel like it may be fair to assume it's similar to Robinhood, and it's also just a known fintech thing, so I don't have to use Robinhood's exact numbers. I just figured it'd be the closest, in which Robinhood came out, and I want to say their median age was like 35 or maybe it was their mean age, but it was like 35 years old. And it's already been clear and known that these fintech companies and these neobanks, they draw a younger crowd, in which it's going to be fitting that childbearing age. And I think SoFi and Robinhood will benefit greatly by their customer base being primarily of childbearing age. So that is one, a plus for SoFi. Two, I think another plus for SoFi is they target high credit customers. So when they have their customers already on SoFi, they're going to hook up their kids to a SoFi account, and those parents are going to be the ones most likely to add the extra 5K a year to their child's Invest in America or Trump account is what they're calling them. So that is beneficial to SoFi as they have a high credit score base and they have customers that are more well off. But I also think the other place where SoFi wins, and this is not me comparing SoFi to Robinhood. Right now I'm comparing SoFi to just all competitors. I think both will win massively in this space. But another reason I think SoFi will win greatly over other traditional banks and traditional brokerage accounts is their marketing. They are very good at marketing, and I think the biggest one for me is they literally have a stadium named after them, SoFi Stadium. And for those who don't know maybe much about football or the NFL, majority of people who watch the NFL are of childbearing ages. So anybody who may not have a brokerage account yet, maybe they've never even thought about a brokerage account because when I was 18, and this is not just a me thing, this is a lower middle class financial issue where when I turned 18 and I got interested in investing, I had no clue where to go to buy stocks. I was Googling, how do I buy stocks? Where do I go to buy stocks? And when other individuals are doing this, when this comes out, what's going to happen are the SoFis and the Robinhoods. They're all going to pop up because they're all online options to do so. And when you go to the App Store and you look up, you know, brokerage accounts for this Invest in America, one of the first apps that are going to come up is Robinhood. One of the most recognized when it just comes to being able to recognize a company is going to be SoFi. Part of the reason I ended up banking with SoFi in the first place, I was looking for a high yield savings account, and there are many out there, but when I was looking at them all and I would see like Ally, I'd see Marcus, I'd see some some of these other options. I banked with SoFi because at that time SoFi was probably like a 5 billion market cap, not a big company. But I saw SoFi and I immediately thought it was a big company because I was like SoFi Stadium. I see their ads all the time. So the marketing exposure that SoFi has and Robinhood has to the financial illiterate, I think will be very appealing when it comes to creating these Invest in America accounts. And I think a lot of new customers will be landed through this. And once they see the whole setup, I think a lot of these individuals will also switch their bank accounts, possibly over to SoFi when they realize, oh, I can do more than brokerage. Because that's the other thing, is a lot of people, I don't know, I've never banked with a JP Morgan or a Bank of America, so I can't speak with how their app is laid out. But I'm going to assume similar, but either way, my point still stands. I'm not sure that when you go to that banking app, that there's just a small invest tab that's very noticeable to just click on and be like, yeah, set up my invest account and get my Invest in America. Like, I don't think that is very clear. And I can say this for a fact. I banked at a traditional local bank. It was just like your local area bank. And a lot of individuals do this. And I just banked at a local individual bank in which they don't have a brokerage. It doesn't, there is no invest tab on that app at all. So if they do have a brokerage, I don't know about it, but I'm assuming they don't. And so all of those customers, those are people are going to be people who are going to be like, where can I get my Invest in America? Where can I do this? That because it's not shown on the app. So when they start looking at where, they're going to run into the SoFis and Robinhoods who have a big dominance on the internet and are the best product for it, to just be clear about it. They're going to get on the app, set it up, and then they're going to be like, holy crap, this UI is so nice. and they're going to start getting intrigued. Maybe it doesn't happen right away, but they are going to start to get intrigued. And I do believe this is going to lead to account transfers being like, oh, I can get 4% on my money sitting in here. I didn't know that. Like, and there's no like restriction to me pulling my money. I can pull it whenever. You're telling me I can get my credit card to pull out of my savings account. It doesn't have to come out of my checkings account. I think these are benefits that people are going to start to realize who may just bank at the small traditional banks. And those people are going to start transferring over. And then the word of mouth cycle is going to start. And by then, the wealth transfer is going to be upon us. But I also don't think people talk about enough when these Invest in America accounts actually mature. I mean, if you're trading the company, this doesn't make a difference. But for us long term investors, when these Invest in America accounts mature, it's going to be much more than $1,000 being held within the brokerage. So I think it was like by age 30, the amount going off the 10% a year return, it would end up being about 400K if I'm remembering that correctly. So it's not going to be a small amount by the time these kids hit 30 and they can pull the money. So I think assets under management will increase drastically in the next 15-20 years because of the Invest in America accounts, and I believe it is overall a very bullish thing for SoFi and Robinhood as well. That being said, I wanted to ask you guys, please comment, like, and subscribe if you guys enjoyed this video. And go ahead and follow me on Twitter. It's at investinc_intel. I hope you guys did all enjoy this video. I hope I provided wonderful insights on the fireside chats as well as what's to come with Invest in America. That being said, I hope you guys all have a great day. Peace out.